Where do we look for answers? When we are lost, we ask for advice. We read books, we debate, we think harder. We believe that if we just make enough noise, the truth will hear us. But have you ever noticed? The more you search outside, the quieter the voice becomes inside. What if the answer you are desperately screaming for can only be heard when you stop talking? This was the chaos inside the mind of a scholar named Aris. He was, by all accounts, the smartest man in the village. His home was a fortress of scrolls and leather-bound books, each one a testament to his relentless pursuit of knowledge. Yet, for all his learning, Aris was tormented. He stood at a crossroads in his life, a decision so profound it paralyzed him. He needed to find his purpose, a path that felt true, but every book he read offered a different map. His mind was a marketplace that never closed. He talked constantly, a torrent of words pouring out as he asked everyone for their opinion. The baker, the blacksmith, the elders, even the children playing in the street. He'd corner them, his eyes wide with urgency, laying out his dilemma in excruciating detail, analyzing every possible outcome. At night, he would read until his eyes burned, convinced the next page held the secret. But the more facts he gathered, the further the truth seemed to drift away. He was exhausted by the weight of other people's advice, and most of all, exhausted by the relentless hum of his own thoughts. He knew everything, but he understood nothing. Desperate for what he called the ultimate answer, Aris heard tales of a sage who lived on the high peak, a man so wise he had no need for words. A silent sage. This must be it, Aris thought. A mind so powerful it could solve any problem with a single perfect piece of wisdom. So he gathered his most important books, strapping them to his back, and began the arduous climb. The journey was long, and with every step, he rehearsed his questions, polishing them, perfecting them, so the sage would understand the full gravity of his problem. When he finally reached the summit, breathless and expectant, he didn't find a grand temple or a library of ancient secrets. He found a man sitting by a perfectly still mountain lake. The sage was doing absolutely nothing, just sitting. The water before him was like a flawless mirror, reflecting the sky and the jagged mountain peaks with impossible clarity. Aris, unable to contain himself, stumbled forward, his books thudding as he dropped them to the ground. Sage, tell me what to do. I have read every book. I have considered every philosophy, but I am lost. My mind is a storm, and I cannot find the shore. I need your answer. Which path should I take? What is my purpose? The sage did not speak. He did not even turn his head. He simply lifted a hand and pointed a long, slender finger toward the lake. Aris glanced at the water, then back at the sage, his frustration mounting. I don't care about the water. I climbed a mountain for wisdom, not for a view. I need answers. Speak to me. He began to pace, his voice growing louder, a one-man debate society echoing across the silent peak. Maybe I should become a merchant, but the travel would take me from my family. Or perhaps a teacher, but do I have enough to offer? The books say a life of service is noble, but other texts argue that self-discovery is the highest calling. What if I choose wrong? What if I waste my life on a mistake? His words tumbled out, faster and faster, a chaotic list of his problems, his fears, his arguments with himself. He was not speaking to the sage anymore. He was just making noise. As Aris ranted, the sage calmly reached down and picked up a small, smooth pebble. With a gentle flick of his wrist, He tossed it into the center of the lake. Splash! The perfect reflection shattered. Ripples radiated outward, distorting the image of the mountain into a wobbly, chaotic mess. The clear view was gone, replaced by broken light. The sage then turned to Aris for the first time. He pointed to the rippling water. Then he pointed to Aris's own moving mouth. A profound understanding passed between them without a single word being uttered. In his mind, Aris heard the lesson as clearly as if it had been shouted. When the water is agitated, it reflects nothing but broken light. When the mind is noisy, it reflects only confusion. You cannot see the bottom of the lake while you are throwing stones into it, Aris. You cannot hear the answer while you are the one screaming. The words hit Aris like a bolt of lightning. He stopped talking mid-sentence. The sudden silence was deafening. He was out of breath, his shoulders slumped in defeat. He slowly, heavily sat down on the ground next to the sage. He had no more words, no more arguments, no more questions. He was empty. For the first time in months, maybe years, Aris stopped thinking. He just watched. He watched the ripples on the lake's surface slowly lose their energy. He watched them fade, getting wider and softer until the chaos subsided. The water became still once more, and there it was again, the perfect, clear reflection of the mountain and the sky. Glass. And in that sudden, profound silence, the silence outside him, and finally the silence inside him, thought arose. It wasn't a loud, demanding thought from his books. It was a quiet, simple feeling, a clear, gentle knowing that rose not from his head, but from his heart. It was the answer. It wasn't complicated or philosophical. It was simple, and it was his. The answer was there all along. It had just been drowned out by his own noise. Aris looked at the sage, his eyes filled with tears of gratitude. He bowed his head low. The final scene we see is Aris descending the mountain. He walks differently. His steps are light, sure, and unburdened. The heavy stack of books he so painfully carried up the peak is gone, left behind at the lakeside. He is carrying nothing but himself. As he re-enters the village, a neighbor runs up to him, full of excitement. Aris, you're back. Did you find him? Did the silent sage tell you the secret to life? What did he say? Aris stopped. He looked at the anxious villager, and a gentle, peaceful smile graced his lips. For the first time, he didn't feel the need to fill the space with words. Instead, he simply raised a finger to his own lips. He said nothing, Aris whispered, and that told me everything. He then turned and walked away, not toward his library of questions, but toward his new path. Peaceful, quiet, and absolutely sure of where he was going. The moral is that wisdom is not found in the accumulation of more words or thoughts, but in the stillness between them. We often already possess the answers we seek. We simply need to quiet the noise of our minds long enough to hear the truth whispering from within.